Welcome to Just Cook It Radio, hosted by Chef Mario Pareca and Bill Alexander. Just Cook It Radio is about food, life, and everything in between. And now, your hosts of Just Cook It Radio, Mario and Bill.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS, and also on FCTV Channel 77, and at justcookit.tv. I am Mario Pareca. I'm here with Bill Alexander. And, Bill, we're back in studio this week.
Yeah, and a surprise, Jim's here, too.
Jim's here, yes. Jim Morgan's across the desk from us once yet again.
Yeah, we thought Mike was going to be here for some reason, but I guess Mike's out at a car show somewhere.
Mike's live on location. He's really busy. But so last week we were at the Heart Walk.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
With our Oreos.
I
guarantee we
Oreos.
were the only one there with candy corn Oreos.
Right. Well, as everyone else was eating fruit and they were handing out actual good stuff for you, we were sitting there eating. Well,
we had to try them.
We had to try them. I mean, we've been looking for those for a year solid now. We finally found them. I don't care. If I was on my deathbed, that would have been the last thing I would have eaten. Yes.
They're really good, though.
I mean,
good. It's different.
It's a good seasonal Oreo, you know? Not that I recommend eating Oreos all the time because I don't either, but it's, you know.
It was good. It was good. It was different.
It was very different. And I also want to mention at the top of the show here that next week, today's October the 12th, next week on October the 19th, there's actually an open house at 4th Street Barbecue.
Oh, really?
So, so they're having they're updating their menu, and they're having a special open house next Saturday the 19th, so you can actually call and let for reservations. I mean, they're not really reservations, just so they have a head count on how many people are coming, so they have the new menu items ready. I mean, they're going to have new fries, new burgers, along with all the barbecue that you're used to, the ribs, the brisket, the chops, all that stuff. But the fries, the burgers, new wings that they're unveiling that are really good. So it's going to be a
now,
good
this is
event.
the menu you've been working with them right?
Yes, we've been working on this menu for quite some time now, just developing some new dishes and some new things. Like we said, the fries, the wings, the burgers, hot dogs are going to be on there. An adult grilled cheese sandwich is going to be on there. So it's...
My question to you is, and I meant to ask you this before when I knew you were doing this, you're revamping a menu. You're updating it. How hard is it to do that when you have your staples that you've been serving for a long period of time? How do you make that change without really alienating the customer?
Well, you have to look at, on the menu, what are the top sellers right now, which happen to be the ribs, the brisket. And this actually worked out well because when they first started their staples, they didn't have a huge menu. Okay. So we are basically just making simple additions to the menu this time. But you need to look at what your top sellers are and the items that you're known for that people actually come there to eat. You don't touch those.
Because I know I've gone to restaurants before, and say it's been 6 months since I've been there, and they've changed the menu. And the one thing I go back for, it's not there anymore.
Right. Well, if you have a signature item, for instance, in this case, if you are a barbecue place like 4th Street Barbecue is, obviously you don't want to touch the ribs, you don't want to touch the brisket, because those are the things that people come back for time and time again. The smoked half chicken, which is my favorite, which is on the menu, and they have an array of sauces. And when they first started, something we discussed was, how do you give people a variety without making them feel like they need to make a choice, because choosing is hard. Right. So everything that they make, the ribs, the brisket, the chops, they use their dry rub on, which is really good, and it's all the same. And then you get to choose the sauce you want out of their 15 to 18 different sauces. Okay. So you can choose it, and they can either put it on for you, or you could get 4 or 5 sauces on the side. So you can get a rack of ribs and dip each rib in a different sauce.
Idea, yeah.
So... yeah, it works. It's a great place, and if you haven't been there yet, it's right down on 4th Street. Why it's called 4th Street Barbecue in Charleroi. Right, if you turn at the subway and go up the hill, it's right there. You can get takeout, you can eat in. But next Saturday, the 19th, we will be there with a special open house to unveil the new menu. So if you give them a buzz, which you can go to justcookit.net. If you go to our sponsors page, you can find their number. Give them a call, let them know you're going to come, and it'll be something cool for you to try and something good to eat on a Saturday night.
Years ago, years and years ago, we used to refer to Charleroi as the Magic City. I wonder if they're still calling themselves that.
It's magical, that's for sure.
It's a nice little community. I mean, when I worked at the AM station in Brownsville, we did a lot of remotes over there, and it was really nice because we were in the valley. And unfortunately, with the way radios have changed so much in the last 10 or 15 years, they don't have that opportunity. But again, it was a really nice community to be a part of.
Yeah, and there's some new businesses popping up occasionally and things, but I mainly go to Charleroi for the barbecue. So, yeah, and I recommend you do the same. So, in any case, there's something we talked about, Bill, on last week's program.
Okay.
That you actually brought up this morning before we got on the air, and I want to kind of mention it because I found an article. It was actually posted yesterday evening, so it's very recent. And it's about with the government shutdown. That's the huge thing right now.
Right.
The government shutdown and everything. Because people don't really, like we said on the air last week, people don't really know what's all involved here, what's going to happen. We're kind of learning as we go what's still up, what's not up, the different memorials, the zoos that close. It's really a shame.
The parks and everything. I know locally here, Fort Necessity is closed, and then we start talking about going farther east, Gettysburg. Which, how do you close Gettysburg? I don't get that one. But again, you're right. These things are closing, and no one ever thought this through, how it's going to affect.
Right, and you mentioned the FDA.
Right.
And last week, and we didn't have an answer for that. Now we do. It says that they've confirmed that all routine food safety inspections are suspended during the shutdown. So basically, what it says here is, if it's a routine inspection of a facility that hasn't had any issues, they're not going to.
In other words, something like a monthly update or something like that, they're not going to follow through.
But if it's a place that poses a risk or has had a risk recently, then they'll go and still inspect those. But in any case, I'm kind of on the fence about this one because in one case you want them to keep inspecting because it makes you feel a little better. And on the other side of the fence you have, does it really matter if they inspect it or not? Because what do they actually do when they're there?
Exactly right. Now, I know earlier this week, they brought some of the employees back in the California region because there is a salmonella breakout dealing with chicken from Foster Farms. And they brought people back that were being called in because of an issue there. So I guess they're going to do it whenever necessary. They're going to bring people back and everything else. But my question is, are the inspectors that are being brought back, are they working for free? Because are you going to do the same amount of work or the same quality work if you're not getting paid for it?
I believe they have a budget of so many.
Okay.
And it says here that it actually went through. They threw a bill. They put a bill through the House of Representatives, passed it to pay these inspectors to come back, but it hit the Senate floor where they haven't even touched it yet.
So
they're kind of putting it off. Yeah. So, but it says that they have 160. This works out. It works out to about 167 delayed inspections per week. 200 inspections from being conducted each week of the shutdown. It says altogether it's 367 a week or 73 businesses per day that aren't being inspected that normally were.
That's
on average.
It's kind of scary if you think about it.
73 a day.
I mean, and now if they're in your community, it's something to worry about.
It also states that the FDA oversees the safety of 80% of the American food system, including dairy, juice, raw eggs, farmed seafood, and so-called manufactured foods such as Cheerios, peanut butter, M&Ms, hummus, canned soup, and frozen ravioli.
Cheerios?
That's one of the items that they named. Oreos.
Oreos is on that list too?
No, I assume because it's all the same, But the fact of the matter
Cheerios? Why would you? I mean, I don't know.
The fact of the matter is, during the shutdown, they're not inspecting as much as they usually do,
yeah.
And you can take it
either
way you want.
Now, my question for you is, are some of these major food corporations, and this is all speculation, do you think they're taking advantage of this not having an inspection done on a regular basis like these big agri-companies that are maybe cutting a few corners right now? I know, conspiracy theory here, but...
Big Brother's. Let me preface this by saying I don't know for sure. Okay, I don't know what they're going to do, so I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm not making any accusations, but going from recent history and just thinking about it, they probably are cutting some corners. You know, if the health inspector's not going to come, then there's stuff you can get away with. Is it right? No. Is everyone doing it? No. Are some doing it? Most likely.
Probably.
I'm not saying I know for sure, but most likely it makes, saves time, saves energy. You just go in, do your thing, and leave without the worry of the hammer dropping.
Exactly right.
So, for instance, if you went to work, if you go to work and your boss isn't there, do you act any differently than when your boss is there?
No. No.
No, not at all. Okay, well,
No,
let me change the
no.
question.
Where I work, no, I can't. But anyhow.
Let me change the question. Do you think the average person acts different? Like if you say you just have a desk job, okay, and you're sitting at your desk all day long and you do the same thing, your reports and whatnot. If your boss isn't there, do you think you get as much work done as when your boss is standing looking over your shoulder?
When I worked
Kind
here,
of the same principle.
when I worked here, yeah, I got away with murder when I worked here. But anyhow,
But yeah,
there's a reason why I wasn't working here for so
it's
long.
kind of the same principle. But we also want your input. I have a few. We're going to talk about some more different stories and things as the show progresses. But if you want to chime in on that story, on the FDA on the government shutdown thing, or on the ones coming up, you can also always give us a call at 855-590-0590, or at the station number, which is 724-438-4593.
It's a really interesting thought because these are the things that you don't think about when you think about government shutdown, because you think about non-essential employees, you think about maybe now parks and recreation facilities being closed, but now this is something that's touching our daily lives. And these companies for years took pride in saying USDA inspected. Mm-hmm. It's not being inspected now. So can they legally put that little sticker on the packages during this period of time?
Well, and it also says here that there's all kinds of different angles. Some companies actually pay their own people to inspect it,
which I feel more comfortable with that, to be honest with you.
But some don't.
Yeah.
So it's the ones that don't that have the issue. That's why it says that they're responsible for 80% of the American food system, because the other 20% have their own inspectors.
Okay. And they're probably inspecting above and beyond what the government requirement is.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
It could go either way,
but
most
again,
likely,
if you're taking the initiative on yourself to pay somebody, why wouldn't you go above and beyond?
Because you want people to know. When you have someone of your own there, you want people to know what you're doing and that your product is a cut above the rest,
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Or pun intended. Speaking of that, and hopefully the government doesn't come take us off the air right now, we got to take a break.
So we're going to our own little mini shutdown?
Yes, we're going into our 2-minute shutdown right now.
2-minute mini shutdown. Don't touch that radio dial. We will be right back, and unlike the government, we do have a scheduled time to be back. So, Just Cook It is being served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, by Pareca Chiropractic Center, Inc., by 4th Street Barbecue, by the Herald Standard, and on FCTV by Phil Gianetti Motors.
And you're watching Just Cook It on Fayette TV, Channel 77, and also at justcookit.tv. And you're listening to Just Cook It Radio here on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS. Phil Gianetti Motors at 656 National Pike East in Brownsville is a proud sponsor of programming on FCTV. Phil Gianetti Motors, providing quality vehicles for 45 years. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, give Phil Gianetti's a call at 724-785-6800 or stop by their website, philgianettymotors.com.
Hello, Fayette TV, and thank you for watching Just Cook It Radio right here on Channel 77. I am Mario Pareca.
And I'm Bill Alexander. If you like what you've seen so far, you can watch the program in its entirety at justcookit.tv for food, life, and everything in between.
Good to have you back. You're listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS, and also on FCTV, Channel 77, and at justcookit.tv. I am Mario Pareca.
And I'm Bill Alexander. Hey, Jim made a great comment during the break. We wonder if the FCC is still working, since they're not really non-essential. So do I have to really mention that I'm in Uniontown, Pennsylvania right now on 590 Radio, WMBS? Do I really have to mention that?
Maybe they'll call and let us know.
Or are they going to come in and get me for a bottom-of-the-hour ID?
That's a good question. Maybe we'll have to send out some correspondence and find that one out. But in any case, we are here, and you can give us a call at 855-590-0590 or at 724-438-4593 to chime in on the conversation. And moving on from the old FDA and shutdown and FCC things, there's an actual free food giveaway this weekend.
Where
today and tomorrow at Burger King.
You know what? I did see that.
They're giving away their Satisfries.
What are Satisfries?
Satisfries are the new French fry from Burger King that are supposed to have 30% less fat, 20% fewer calories than its regular fries, and 40% less fat and 30% fewer calories than McDonald's fries.
Okay.
So they're crinkle cut, and the
like
batter's a
crinkle cut
little
fries.
different, but it's still not exactly a health food because one serving of Satisfries still contains 270 calories.
Can I ask a dumb question? And I've asked this before. Why are you competing with McDonald's? You're not going to beat them. That's like years ago when Pepsi and Coke would fight back and forth. I mean, you both have a market share. Just enjoy it and go from there. Don't try to overtake anybody.
I don't think they're trying to overtake McDonald's. I think they're just trying to find a new niche.
But you've
here.
noticed McDonald's has never changed their French fries.
Well, they don't have to.
Exactly. But Burger King every so many years comes up with a new one. And you mentioned there's breading on the fries.
Burger King they have batter on their fries.
Why?
They make them crispier. But there's always, McDonald's fries are the classic. They're the standard. So, I mean, as far as French fries go, period, McDonald's are the standard, so they don't need to change theirs at all. Now, Burger King, when you're trying to compete with the standard, it makes sense to make modifications or try to find out, because people, I guess what Burger King's thinking here is, if you're more health-minded, you might say, well, I really want French fries, but I don't want all the calories, so I might as well get Satisfries because they're a little bit less calorically packed than McDonald's. But in any case, my advice to you is, if you're concerned with health food and you want to be healthy, don't eat French fries at all.
My advice is
or make them at home. Use sweet potatoes, bake them. That's
my
the way
advice
to go.
is go to Steak and Shake. I mean, that's my advice.
I do like their little shoestring fries. But
or go to Red Robin for the steak fries. I mean,
these next three, this one and the next two articles are about more fast food oriented, and then we're going to get into some health food topics towards the end of the program, just to balance it out. We like that healthy balance here on the program.
We're going to be talking about Oreos at the end of the show, or Doritos,
or eating them, one or the other. But so the Satisfries, you can find them there. Burger King says, according to USA Today, Burger King intends to give away more than 10 million value-sized orders of Satisfries, which usually cost $1.29 each.
So let's go after the show.
Yeah, so they're giving away, essentially, according to these numbers, over $10 million worth of
fries.
I
mean, okay. I mean, not that it's going to hurt them for doing that, but I guess trying a marketing ploy to get people in.
Today and tomorrow, so you better
Now,
get
do you
there.
have to make another purchase to get those fries, or can I walk in the door and say, I want some French fries?
I believe you can do that.
Satisfries.
It Satisfries. It doesn't say, so I assume that you can just go in and get the Satisfries.
Okay.
They want people to try them, to say, hey, they're delicious, and now...
I think it's really funny. This is from the restaurant that came out with the bacon sundae 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're making a little bit of a change.
I mean, we went from bacon sundaes to healthier French fries. Something doesn't add up here.
They're still French fries.
I know they
that's
are.
That's my point. People say, well, they're healthier, but they're still French fries. Don't get crazy.
They're still cooked in oil. I mean,
they're still deep fried.
Yeah, they're still deep fried.
They're
if
still
they were
potato
baked in the
potatoes.
oven, I could understand it then.
I don't think Burger King has an oven.
No, I used to work at Burger King
Did
years
you?
ago. Yeah, where was it at? It was in Richland. It was in Hampton Township, 100 years ago. So,
yeah, so there you have
I couldn't work fries. You know why? I couldn't scoop the fries because they had a right-handed French fry scoop and I'm left-handed, and I couldn't get it to work. It was really sad. So they put me on burger patties. I put them on the metal rack and watch them roll through.
Okay.
I worked at KFC at one time too.
You're a fast food aficionado.
I love that restaurant.
KF the Colonel.
Yeah, my dad loved it too because I got to bring all the free stuff home that we didn't, all the extras we didn't sell that
I'll have to find it. I saw this yesterday when I was doing my show prep. They also have a column or an article on here that was dealing with the fast food. There was an artist, okay, who I believe he's a graphic designer, but he lost a lot of weight. Okay, he went from like 200 pounds down to 160 pounds, and he has like this fast food fascination or junk food fascination. Right. So to help keep himself from eating more fast food and gaining his weight back, he took the logos of all the fast food places and made them look like they eat their own product. So there's a picture of Colonel Sanders with like 3 chins, and he's like huge, and then you have the McDonald's logo, which is like the arches, which don't even look like arches anymore because they're exploding. Right. And the Hardee's star, which doesn't look like a star anymore because it's
Hardee's.
so big.
Unfortunately, they're not around here anymore.
Yeah. Hardee's would always serve up to you a nice helping of grease with all of that.
Yes, they did. That was
that's what they were known for.
And you can get an extra helping too.
Yeah, what was it? What did they have? The Monster Burger? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Well, they still do. Carl Jr.'s, which is also Hardee's, still serves that stuff. And the commercials that push the envelope ever so slightly.
Yeah, we talked about this.
With the scantily clad women eating hamburgers on cars.
Yeah,
which
I don't
think
mind
is
the
interesting.
commercials at all.
Yeah.
But
the food. One thing was interesting, and this was before the internet and everything else. Again, this goes back a few years ago. When I worked at KFC, my dad's cousin, who was a chef at one of the country clubs in Pittsburgh, and I will remain nameless because he still works there, I smuggled out the secret recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we tried to duplicate our own. It was quite interesting.
Did it work out?
It wasn't too bad. It was close.
Yeah?
But we did it under the secret darkness and everything else. I had a little baggie, and I carried it out, yeah. I was waiting for the chicken police to come get me when I did it.
It was like, and this has a couple connections there, it was like a clean version of Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Did you go underneath the laundry? And you're
yeah, so we were trying to crack the code on the original recipe.
I'm sure if KFC found out that you had their recipe and you were making their recipe, they would come after you with the same intensity that the government would come after you for producing illegal substances.
Oh, I agree with that. Oh, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but that was 30 years ago,
right.
So I think the
statute
of
limitations covers you. But
that and the internet and everybody else has posted it now, so it's not a problem.
I'm just pointing out, but
it's like the Canadian government coming after you, right? Yeah.
Don't bring that back up because I don't know if Canada has a statute of limitations.
If they're not coming after you, they're coming after your mother, right?
It wasn't really her fault, but anyway, she was ignorance isn't an excuse for the law.
Ignorance is bliss, they said.
Yeah, well.
But again, she was the adult at the time.
I was an adult too.
Yeah, but she whatever.
I was 22 at the time.
Were you in school?
I was in college.
Well, still, she's still considered the parent.
Okay.
She should have known better, right?
Yeah, Mom. But anyway,
it's her fault, honest.
Anyway, how about this one? Moving on to the next fast food topic, Taco Bell. If you
more healthy food today.
If you go into Walmart.
Yeah.
And there's another place. This is just getting better and better.
Yeah, it is.
If you go into Walmart to buy something from Taco Bell, they have a do-it-yourself chocolate taco kit. So basically, you buy this kit. It comes with chocolate taco shells. Okay. You have to buy your own ice cream. But you buy your ice cream, you fill it with ice cream, and this kit comes with chocolate taco shells, chocolate syrup, and sprinkles. So you provide the ice cream and the whipped cream. So you take the shell, you put the ice cream in it, you put chocolate syrup on it, you spray it with whipped cream, and you sprinkle it. You have a chocolate taco.
No, you're making your own version of the Choco Taco that the Klondike Company makes.
Here, be warned.
Which are wonderful, by the way.
Be warned. Because these, they cost $3 at Walmart. But I heard that they're really not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From all the reviews that I've read, the biggest complaint was the shell is very delicate, and the chocolate shell doesn't taste like chocolate. It's even though it's brown, it's still, and you get a hint of chocolate, it still tastes like corn.
Oh, does it really?
So yeah,
that'd be odd.
You're getting corn with ice cream, and they said the chocolate syrup that comes with it
is Hershey's.
Sickeningly sweet. They said it's so sweet that it, like you say, it goes beyond making your teeth tingle.
Yeah.
They said it's almost unbearable, but the sprinkles are good. So, it's hard to mess up a sprinkle, you know.
Or are they Jimmy's? Depends on who you talk to.
Depends on where you're at, if you're in the South or not. But so the chocolate taco kit. If anyone tries it, let us know.
Well, that goes back to the Pepperidge Farm macaroni and cheese that we read awful reviews about. I still have a box in my pantry because I won't make it.
Mm-hmm.
My niece had it, and she says, "Don't try it, please. Just don't try it. It's not good. All the shapes are cute." But the cheese sauce is awful.
I read some not so good reviews about that as well. And but whenever I have macaroni and cheese, I always make sure I like Kraft, but I always get the organic because of the yellow number 5s and all that stuff. That
I learned something about making Kraft macaroni and cheese the other day.
What's that?
And actually, it wasn't the other day. It's been about a month ago. If you use real butter and a good bit of it in it, it tastes excellent.
Oh yeah, I always use real butter.
My kids love it, and I have one that never liked macaroni and cheese until Dad started making it.
Yeah,
it's good. It really is.
Macaroni and cheese for me is like it really is an addiction.
Yeah.
Because if you make a pot of it, like I don't make it just because I know that if I make it, I'll eat the whole box in one sitting, which is bad, but I will.
Yeah, healthy food again.
Yeah, and if someone else in my house makes it, or someone comes over and makes it, and it's there,
do people randomly come over and make macaroni?
Sometimes,
and cheese at your
I mean, when we go on vacation, when we go on vacation to the beach, and we rent a beach house, and there's little kids there, my little cousins, so they'll always buy a couple or 3 or 4 family boxes of macaroni and cheese because that's what they eat. When we eat dinner, they eat that.
Right.
Well, inevitably I get yelled at because as soon as they make that, I'm in the pot stealing it because I just can't help it. It's
so the commercial's right then that they're showing now. The liquid gold commercial that they're talking about.
Yeah, it's something I can't, now, I just can't turn down.
My wife makes a homemade macaroni and cheese, and what's interesting is she does it from no recipe at all. Mm-hmm. And every time there's a different taste to it. But again, it's excellent. I love homemade macaroni and cheese. Baked with breadcrumbs on top. I mean, I could sit and go through a whole sitting and eat that. Mm-hmm. But again, the funny thing is with the Kraft macaroni and cheese, I mean, there's nothing other than Kraft. I mean, I've tried other brands.
And it's really not real cheese, actually.
But it's good.
It's delicious.
Everything in moderation.
It's like, you take one bite, and like I said, I have to eat the whole box. But moving on to the next story, because that story wasn't even out. How do we go from chocolate tacos to macaroni and cheese?
Why don't we take the phone call first?
Call? Let's take the phone call.
Yeah, we have the B-man here, Donald. Hi.
Hey, Don.
Hello, how are you?
Doing fine this morning. How are you doing?
Oh, half and half, waiting for the dentist for Monday, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, got to get a tooth pulled.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Well, see, I take Vicodin for my back anyhow, you know.
Yeah.
Rotten too. It's painkiller. That don't even work.
Oh.
Yeah, I even went see even your family doctor, the dentist, nothing can give you any pain medicine.
I'm
sorry. With the pain clinic,
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Donald. What's your question?
But anyway, I'm hearing you saying macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
I only want to say this, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
Okay, I love it, and this is how I eat it. I did it for the kids when they were growing up. I use 1 can of tuna and 1 can of peas. Mix it all together, and you talk about something delicious, and that's good for you, too.
Yeah, yours not the first time I've heard that. I know other people that do the same thing.
It's almost like a tuna noodle casserole.
Similar, yeah.
With macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Almost.
Which probably would be better than the way I used to have it as a kid, because that's what turned me off to tuna.
Yeah.
Was my mother's tuna noodle casserole. I can say that now. She lives in Arizona, so there's no
like,
repercussion.
If you have a pet, or like a dog, and you have to give them some sort of medication, you put it in like peanut butter or wrap it in lunch meat or something to get them to eat it. So it's like, how do you get your kids to eat peas and tuna? You wrap it in macaroni and cheese.
There you go.
So thank you, Donald, for the call and the information. That's
well, I even eat it now,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's if you want something fast, because you don't cook much anymore, because your kids are gone.
Right. Understand.
And I was the cook.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say. I'll let you two go.
Well, thanks again for the call, and thank you for listening.
Okay. Bye.
But again, what else can you do with macaroni and cheese?
You can do all kinds of stuff with it. One of my favorite ways to eat macaroni and cheese, and how we used to actually make it at the restaurant when we were doing it for adults. Like if you're doing it for kids, obviously it's just the mac and cheese because that's what they're used to. But when you're doing it for adults, we used to put stewed tomatoes and sautéed spinach on it, which is excellent.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which brings me back to another question I didn't ask about. We're talking about 4th Street Barbecue's menu unveiling next week. What is an adult grilled cheese sandwich?
An adult grilled cheese sandwich has 3 different types of cheeses on it. First of all, it's on a crustier bread.
Do I get to pick the cheese?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
There's different cheeses there, but so it has different types of cheeses on it. It's on a crustier bread, so it's either on Italian or sourdough. And instead of just griddling it, we put some truffle oil in with the butter and buttered on the outside, so it's got that little bit of an adult taste to it. It's still your grilled cheese sandwich. We didn't want to stray too far from the grilled cheese concept, but we wanted to kick it up and make it a little more adult profile.
Which is a great cut.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites, and they have great macaroni and cheese there as
well. Do they
really? Yeah, and they do theirs like you said with they bake it.
The breadcrumbs.
Yeah, so when you get it, it comes almost like stuffing in a square.
Yeah.
But it's warm and once you cut into it, it's warm and gooey inside.
How do you
and
make
crispy on
that
the
much
outside.
macaroni and cheese or anything for a large group of people? I mean, you're quadrupling.
You mean how do you prep it?
Yeah, I mean that just seems.
Well,
sometimes overwhelming to me to be able to
well,
do that.
you make large amounts of cheese sauce first,
Right.
so you have that, and then you make your macaroni, and you toss it with your cheese sauce. You put it in your pans, you crust it, and you bake it off. And then, but you can have it made up ahead of time to where you're just popping it in the oven and finish it. And once you bake it, if it's, say we're going into service, and we have our macaroni and cheese, and there's going to be, we know for a fact we're going to serve at least 30 portions.
Right.
We'll bake 2 pans off, have them already ready to go and cut, and then we're just heating to serve.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know?
I was just curious about that.
So yeah, I mean, there's different ways you can do it.
That's one of those things that you think about, but you don't ever ask anybody.
And you always want to make sure that you have extra cheese sauce available, just in case the longer it sits, it may start to get a little dry.
Right.
So then you can add a little extra cheese sauce to it, and recrust the top and re-crisp it and things like that. So just little tricks. But you always want to make sure it's ooey gooey and delicious.
Ooey gooey and delicious.
That's right. In other food news, Hershey.
Okay, more healthy food.
That's what I said. These next 3, and this is the 3rd one.
You're talking about the caramel?
Yes.
Yes,
They're
they're
unveiling the new candy brand.
After first one in 20 years or 30 years, or a new candy brand.
I'm trying to see what the exact year date is, but it is like 30-some years.
Yeah,
it's
because
been.
I read that this week, and the name of the caramel is actually paying tribute to Milton Hershey's first candy company.
Yeah, it's called Lancaster.
Yeah, which was named after Lancaster, PA, which is where he started the caramel company.
What I like about these are they're caramel soft creams.
Yes.
So they're soft and chewy, kind of like when you get the box of chocolates, assorted chocolates, and you get that one with chocolate with caramel.
Yeah.
It's like that without the chocolate.
Yeah, my thing is that I never thought caramels really were. I mean, are they coming back in vogue again?
They've always been in
Because
vogue.
most of us, when we think of caramels, we go back to Kraft and those little square cubes that you would get in the bag, and you would use them for other things like candy apples or caramel apples and stuff like that.
Well, caramel apples, you make your own caramel, but
I
usually.
but I've seen but I like just getting a bag of those and just opening them and eating them.
Right. Oh, I do too. But they've been in vogue for a while now because a lot of people, if you go even into these artisanal candy shops,
Artisanal?
Yeah. It's just
Fancy
upscale candy shops.
Gourmet candy shops. There you go.
You see,
I love these names.
it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
I know.
You see these chocolate-covered caramels that have sea salt on top, and
Yes,
smoked
which are
salts,
really
and
good,
different
by the
types.
way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've been in vogue. These ones are a little different because they're not hard, and that's why Hershey says they came out with these, because it's a whole new market share.
I think it's interesting.
I think it is too, and it makes me think of everyone that I know of, and every grandparent's house I've ever been to, whether they be mine or not, have always had Werther's.
Exactly.
And it's basically that's butterscotch, but it's close to the same thing.
I
And
like
this
butterscotch, too.
Yeah, and this is a caramel chew. So we'll have to try those when they come out. January 2014 is their slated date to
Now,
arrive.
didn't they release them in another part of the world first?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because see, I thought they did a European or an Asian market first.
No,
And
China and the U.S. are the first two to come out.
Okay.
And this is the first time they're releasing both on the same date. Actually,
Okay,
at
that's
the same
okay.
time.
That's why I read it then. Which again, maybe it's just me, and there's a cultural a block there, but I wouldn't think caramels being very popular in China, and I don't know why I think that, but.
Hey, I don't know. I've never been to China.
I haven't either.
I mean, I've eaten Chinese restaurants, which aren't really Chinese anyway.
Yeah, exactly right.
But so I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an eye on it and
Do
see
they
how
eat
it
Chinese
does.
food in China?
They eat real Chinese food in China, not American
Okay.
Chinese food. Just like when you go to Italy, they eat real
Italian food?
Yeah, not American Italian food. Not that stuff you get at the garden down the street.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah. So now that we've talked about this stuff, let's get into a little more healthier approach,
Now,
to balance the show.
We've been all over the board, but Kraft has been a main theme this morning. Kraft made something that I can't find anymore. Kraft used to make their own spaghetti in a box.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
That was one of my favorites as a kid.
Did it come
Growing
with
up,
sauce and everything?
It came with a seasoning packet, and you used 2 cans of tomato paste or 1 can of sauce, and you mixed it, and you would make your own. And I loved it. I mean, it was short spaghetti because it had to fit in a box, but that was one of my favorite spaghettis when I was a kid. It had the
Interesting.
Parmesan cheese in it and everything.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. I've never seen that.
yeah.
Must have been before my time.
Shut up.
There's Jim Morgan laughs over there as well. Anyway,
Hey, before we go
wanna
healthy,
go on
let's,
break?
yeah, let's take
yeah,
another
let's
break.
put. This seems like a logical breaking
Yeah,
point
right.
to process the unhealthy, and then we'll get into the healthy. Just to kind
We'll
of
try to
balance.
redeem the show, is what you're
Yes, we'll
saying.
balance the show out. That way, we don't have anyone mad at us. And don't touch that radio dial. We will be back with more Just Cook It, and we are being served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, by Pareca Chiropractic Center, Inc., by 4th Street Barbecue, and by the Herald Standard.
And you're watching Just Cook It on Fayette TV, Channel 77, and also at justcookit.tv. And you're listening to Just Cook It Radio here on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS.
Welcome back. You are listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS, and also on FCTV Channel 77, and at justcookit.tv. I am Mario Pareca. He's Bill Alexander.
Thank you for telling me that.
I was telling them that.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know who I was today. Okay.
In any case, you can call us and join the conversation. Maybe remind Bill who he is.
I know I'm getting old, but I mean, it's not that bad.
At 855-590-0590 is the toll-free number. And if you want to call the station number, it's 724-438-4593. Call in and join the conversation.
Heck, during the previous break, Jim and I were talking about the original owners of the stations, working with them. I'm going, so, I mean, I know I'm old.
No one said you're old, Bill. But anyway, he's a little sensitive this morning.
Thanks.
We talked about some unhealthy foods just to keep you abreast of what's going on in the food world. And now we need to talk about...
Did you do that because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
No, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yes, I did do that.
Okay,
yes,
thank you. You were leading into that?
Yes.
Okay.
But we want to talk about some healthier options, some healthier foods in the last 10 minutes of the program or so. The first thing, I'm going to skip this article I have right here, and we'll talk about this next week.
Yeah, sure
we will.
The one
that you saw.
Yeah, sure we will.
I have an article about 10 foods that Americans eat that are banned around the world.
This is why we need to talk during the week so we know what we're doing.
No, this is fun. I like having it off the cuff, but we'll talk about this next week because there's something even more important that I want to talk about.
Mario went into hiding after Wednesday night's Pirate game, so no one heard or talked to him.
I was in a little bit of a funk, but now I'm out of it. The Environmental Working Group, they do a lot of good things, one of which is testing fruits and vegetables for herbicides and pesticides.
For organic, yeah.
Well, yeah,
okay.
Finding out which fruits and vegetables you should buy organic, you shouldn't buy organic. Now, I buy almost everything organic that I can. And let me preface this by saying, even if you don't do organic, it's better to eat more fruits and vegetables even if they aren't organic, than to not eat fruits and vegetables at all.
Okay.
So fruits and vegetables, number one, the most important thing is to eat more fruits and vegetables. Number two, if you can buy organic, buy some organic. But there, as you'll see as we go through this list, there's some that you should buy organic, some that you shouldn't buy organic. And we're going to get to this list in 1 minute because we have a phone call.
Yes. Hello, caller.
Hey, good morning. My name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. I'm from Masontown, and I call into the station often and talk to different people. And I listen to you guys every Saturday.
Okay.
And I get pointers about cooking. And I'm making a meatloaf right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But it's like, I do remember that Kraft spaghetti.
I knew somebody would.
Well, hey, I'm 58 years old. I've been around a long time.
Okay.
I remember when that really was the best stuff.
It was, wasn't it?
No kidding.
I mean, you could just eat the sauce and not eat the spaghetti.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just eat spoonfuls.
Oh, yeah.
I really feel like I'm missing something now.
I think I wonder if they still make it, because that was something.
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
We'll have to do some research.
Yeah, but I mean, it still might be on the market somewhere.
Yeah, but it was a different taste is what it was, but it was very good.
Oh, yes, and like you said, all you had to do was put a can of tomato sauce in and mix it up, and
that was
my goodness, it was good stuff.
Yeah,
but I wanted to let you know I do remember that.
Thank you very much, because now he understands that I am not talking from a dream that I'm having, that I actually do know what I'm talking about, so thank you.
And, hey, I do appreciate that you're going to talk about fruits and vegetables. Now, I take care of my mother. She has dementia, and I try to feed her healthy meals every day. And I do cook every day. But the big thing her doctors have always promoted is fruits and vegetables.
Absolutely.
And I've always eaten that way. I mean, I'm lucky. I've been healthy all my life. I want to hear what you have to say about organic.
Yes.
And different things like that. But anyhow, I just want to let you know, guys, I listen to you often.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We
just
appreciate
so you know, I remember that spaghetti.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Hey, you have a great day.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you very much for the call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, going back to the fruits and vegetables, it was a great call. Thank you for calling. And if anyone else wants to call, feel free. We have about 5 minutes left on the air, so make it. Now's your time. Speak now or forever hold your
at
peace
least until next
Saturday.
weekend, yeah.
But so let's get back to the fruits and vegetables now. Very important to not take in a ton of these toxic matters that they put on these, the herbicides, the pesticides, all that stuff. So the Dirty Dozen Plus is what they call, there's 12 plus 2. It used to be the Dirty Dozen, but they've actually added 2 more fruits and vegetables to this list. And again, this is the EWG. So you can get this from EWG.org, which is the Environmental Working Group. They did the testing on all these. So the Dirty Dozen, and then we'll talk about the Clean 15. The Clean 15 are the cleanest that you don't necessarily have to buy organic.
Right.
The Dirty Dozen, if you're going to buy organic, first of all, let me preface this by saying the number one thing you should buy organic, if you're going to buy anything organic, it's not on the list, but is butter.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
So let me just say, if you're going to buy any one product at the store organic, make sure you buy your butter organic.
Yeah.
Going into the fruits and vegetables, the Dirty Dozen. Number 1, apples. Okay, you want to buy organic apples. Number 2, celery. Number 3, cherry tomatoes. Number 4 is cucumbers.
Okay.
Number 5 is grapes. Number 6 is hot peppers. Number 7 is imported nectarines. Number 8 is peaches. Number 9 are regular potatoes. And number 10, we have spinach. Number 11 is strawberries. Number 12 are sweet bell peppers. And then the final 2, which are the plus, kale or collard greens, and summer squash.
Okay. That you should buy organic.
Those are what you should buy organic.
Okay.
Those are the fruits and vegetables that have the highest concentration of herbicides and pesticides on them. So those are the ones that you should, if you're going to buy anything organic, those are the ones you want to buy organic. Now the Clean 15.
Yeah.
15 fruits and vegetables that you don't necessarily have to buy organic that are the cleanest. Asparagus.
Okay.
Avocados.
Okay.
Cabbage. Cantaloupe, sweet corn, which we're going to talk about just for a few minutes because that's interesting, eggplant, grapefruit, kiwis, mangoes, mushrooms, onions, papayas, pineapples, sweet peas, the frozen kind, and sweet potatoes. Those are your Clean 15.
Now, the one I'm surprised that wasn't on the Dirty Dozen plus 2 was lettuce.
Yeah, lettuce you have to be careful
Which I was
of,
surprised wasn't on that list, though.
But there's so many different types of lettuce, and some are different than others. I buy all organic lettuce, but that's one thing. But corn is something that's very interesting because we talk about how it's all GMO.
Monsanto. Yes.
Right. But here's the interesting thing that I learned.
Yeah.
Most of the GMO corn, and we have 1 minute, so I'm just going to bring this point up, and we'll continue this next week. Most of the GMO corn is used in products, like in corn tortillas.
Yes.
And in different things. Most of the corn that you're going to buy, sweet corn on the cob, is non-GMO.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference. But so when you're looking at your package, you see your high fructose corn syrup and your corn tortillas that you buy for tacos, like the chocolate taco shell we talked about earlier. Those are most likely GMO. So you want to go organic in that direction. But if you're buying sweet corn just on the cob, you can just buy it as is.
And on that note, it's time to say goodbye.
And we're going to get more into that next week. But thank you for listening to this week's episode of Just Cook It. We will be back next week at 9 a.m. Check us out on the web at justcookit.net. That is our website. You can get everything on there. You can listen to the past shows and get our podcast there. So, again, that's justcookit.net.
And wait, thank you to everybody that is downloading the podcast and listening to previous shows. We really appreciate it. We're doing amazing number-wise, regionally and nationally. We have people listening to us in Singapore and South Korea.
Yes, and we will be back next week. So, again, don't forget to Just Cook It. And we will promote for Bill Alexander. I'm Mario Pareca. We'll talk to you then.
Pareca and Bill Alexander. For more information on this program and how to download it as a podcast, go to justcookitradio.com. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please call us at 1-855-590-0590.
This has been a $1 Million Baby production.